It's another Tuesday to discuss politics and governance in Nigeria. Welcome to Political Paradigm from Channels TV studios in Abuja. I am Terry Ikumi. We'll have two conversations today. One with one of the founding members of the People's Democratic Party who says he will not leave the party no matter the situation. And another with a chieftain of the Labour Party to discuss defections, coalitions, and the state of the party. So let's begin. I sat down with former governor of Jigawa State and Foreign Affairs Minister Sule Lamido. So let's pick up the conversation from why he has stayed rooted in the PDP. Why have you not left the PDP like other members have? I know you're a founding member of the party. Well, your state is APC controlled, and then there's internal crisis within the party that has lingered and caused a lot of people to leave. What's your excuse for not leaving?
Are you married? Are you married? Are you married?
I'm trying to understand how relevant it is, but...
Not yet. You're from a family, correct?
Yes.
In your upbringing, were there no cracks in your house between your daddy and your mom?
Quarrels?
Fine. Have they abandoned you? Have they left the house because of the crisis they're going through? To go to who? I mean, it's something called, your own home, your own legacy, upon which you are also produced. And therefore, how do I now crowd out of my own skin? Crowd out of my skin, coming to you, dripping in blood and flesh for you to confer your own skin on me. That's one. Number two, wherever I go, they say, Sule Lamido, former governor of what? PDP. Isn't it? Sule Lamido, former minister of foreign affairs, PDP. So why should I take, the PDP ornamentation and go and decorate, my opponent? Does it make sense?
Well, sadly, many members don't see the PDP as home, and that's why they're leaving.
That's their problem.
But are you not afraid that the party could collapse?
Eh?
You would stay till it collapses, if it collapses.
You see, if the party collapses, the president and those APC have more to lose more than any other person because they are giving government. If the party collapses because collapse PDP, you collapse democracy in Nigeria and the whole thing will collapse, and therefore the big losers. The big losers are going to be Tinubu.
Who will be the loser?
The big loser, if the party collapses,
if the PDP collapses,
Nigeria will collapse. Put it down.
Explain that.
All right, because when there is no opposition, then you have an emperor.
But there are other political
Wait
parties.
now, listen now. When the party collapses, then you got an emperor over Nigeria, and like all emperors, they are normally destroyed by their own greed. All emperors.
But look, the question is, there are other political parties that could serve as opposition. Are you worried that the PDP could collapse? Or you don't see that happening?
You see, don't narrow the way between PDP and Nigeria and the government. The PDP is Nigeria's history in the last 25 years. Therefore, look at the bigger picture and the implication of Nigeria. If the party collapses, it's the Nigerian history which is going to collapse. The same history which produced Tinubu in Buhari. Because when the PDP in 1999, which was able to restore Nigeria, get Nigeria reconciled and stabilized, there's no way Buhari or Tinubu can be president. There's no way. So what is, destroy PDP, destroy destroy yourself. Simple. More than anybody, Tinubu needs PDP. More than anybody, to be chasing him, for him to be on his own toes. But if it collapses, nobody will be chasing him. He'll be chasing himself. He'll simply be chasing himself.
I recall that earlier this year, February to be precise, you said that the PDP is working on rebuilding itself and trying to make amends and get back on track since the 2015 presidential election. It's been 10 years now. What level of progress has the PDP made in that regard?
We're making steady progress, even though slowly. We're making it.
What do you say to those who say the PDP is retrogressing? What do you say to those who say you're not making progress, you're retrogressing?
Do they see APC as alternative? Ask them. Are they seeing APC as alternative? If that's their own view, so be it. Look, I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
No, I know you may not want to disclose the outcome of the POT meeting, which recently held, but I want to ask you a direct question. If you are satisfied with the process and the outcome of that meeting,
you are dealing with a human institution with so many inherent interests. And therefore it takes, the political sagacity of the operators, their dexterity, their wisdom and the management. And it's a very, very difficult process. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Do you think that the party has gone beyond the crisis that emanated from the National Convention which produced Atiku? Do you think that the party has gone beyond that problem? Because it would seem at the time that the concern was the national chairman issue. But it seems like it has escalated beyond the national chairman issue now. Is that the case with the party?
We have hope, a commitment, and a passion for Nigeria. And there are others who don't have that kind of thing, basing that thing on their own ephemeral interest. So there'll be difficulty, but we'll get there. We'll get there, don't worry.
I know that there's no love lost between you and the FCT minister, but I just want to know whether you are all on board with this reconciliation within the PDP.
See, I have got nothing against Wiki, nothing against him. I've been saying to him, he has the potential for growth. Wiki is a very young man. Understand? And he needs to be properly mentored to understand what is called Nigeria. The chemistry of Nigeria, its tradition and the cultures. So that he'll be able, by the time he gets whatever we call that, he'll be able to look at the country and say, yes. He will look at, with that kind of understanding of those, complex situation. For now, his comportment, his general utterances, those who are young men with also exuberance. But then with time, he will mellow down. And after I've been there for a long time, he'll use the experience of being government, to be able to understand what you call Nigeria. Now he's not Nigeria better. He's not looking at Nigeria simply from the point of PDP. It's not about PDP. But beyond PDP, after PDP has been crushed, why is he going to go? Why is Nigeria? So the conversation should be beyond PDP. It should look at a country called Nigeria. What happens if things are not being done properly? If things go wrong, what happens? That's all.
Do you think that if you take him out of the picture, that there will be no crisis in the party?
If I what?
Take Wiki out of the picture, there will be no crisis within the party.
I like Wiki, and with all respect to him, it's not Wiki talking, it's the office talking. If you look at this, how many future of us, former governors, who is talking? Look at people like Autumn, who are full of noise all over Nigeria. Is he talking now? When they are going to overseas to go for hold a meeting of five and TV, you can have 5 in Europe and others. Can they go there now? Because they are then availing themselves to state resources and the office they are holding. What you're talking, now that out of office, put you out of office today. Remove that from the minister. He will just be like me, ordinary Sule Lamido. Just like me, ordinary person. So it's in the office talking, not who's talking. It's the office talking.
You were National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party in the Third Republic. And now that conversation is coming up again. We hear that now Rufai didn't mention your name, but he said some of you in your position should join.
SDP was a creation of Babangida. Like NRC. There was no underpinning philosophy why the party were invented, but only for a purpose of the then President Babangida to attain a political interest. Simple.
Is that what the party still stands for now?
I mean, what I'm saying now, who now the grand party? What is the grand party of the party? Who that was now? Before it was the government of Babangida.
So that's the reason why you cannot join the SDP?
What I'm saying is, look, you see, I joined SDP because we are denied the party what is registered. And the government said, look, we are putting SDP and I said, go and join. Now I've got a choice. And I'm not in my own choice. The very choice which produced Rufai as a minister. The very choice which produced me as a governor. The very choice which produced Obasanjo as a Nigerian president. Actually, and the very choice which has made so many people what they are today. That's what.
But I could be wrong here, but your tone in response to him when you granted the interview with, I think, the BBC, sort of suggested that there was some bad blood. I could be wrong, as I say, but let me read out between you and El Rufai. Let me read out what you said. You said that RFI is not enough to make me leave the PDP. You also said he once said that there are no adults in Nigerian politics, but now he is calling us to join the SDP. And those statements seem strong.
Compare them. He said that they are the elders in the north, and they can dictate the way north goes. And they did so. They said no should go into APC, isn't it? So the elder who said he has pushed north into APC. Why is he not abandoning APC and the north? To him, the north should be APC. Why is he abandoning it? In any case, if in 2014, in 2014, as a governor, I never left APC. What RFI was just nothing. Why should I leave PDP? After it doesn't make sense to me. In 2014, when the entire national mood in the north, in the country, was for APC, for change, PDP, verifying PDP as all kind of names. If I refuse to succumb under kind of pressure and blackmail, why should I now go to APC or to any other political party? Why should I burn a PDP? To go to where? Like, I can't simply crowd out of my own skin, coming to you in blood and flesh, for you to confer your own skin on me.
Maybe your movement could help fulfill your presidential ambition. You still want to be president.
Let me see. In Yoruba and Hausa, they have this, culture of dress. The bigger gown on top and smaller one underneath, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And when you say, you look well dressed. Now, can you imagine putting the smaller gown on top of the bigger gown?
Explain that. Explain that in layman terms.
What I'm saying, if you, okay, fine, you have got a shirt now, isn't it? Can you put the shirt over your coat? Can you do it?
What does that mean in the context of what we're discussing?
Because it is smaller. The bigger thing should be on top of the smaller one.
You're the bigger thing.
I am bigger than the FDP, because nobody in Nigeria who was there when I was the secretary of the party in 1992.
But how are you going to be able to achieve to fulfill your presidential ambition unless you don't want to be president?
Whose ambition? Look, you see. Don't begin to talk, ephemerally. You have been too ephemeral. Be altruistic.
Okay.
What I'm saying is this country called Nigeria must be led by some principles. There should be the country first before you talk about ambition. Don't put your ambition ahead of the country. Don't engage your luck in a race. If you overtake your luck in a race, it will be behind you.
So let me make the question more direct. Uh-huh. Do you believe that you will fulfill your presidential ambition, if you still have it, in the PDP?
When you look at the ambition, you see, I ran in 2019. Isn't it? And I didn't get it. I am not running for. You see, the issue is that there are people who run for themselves. There are people who run for a particular national interest. Mm. My ambition is purely altruistic.
Okay.
All right? And when you say my ambition, it's not sacrosanct. It's about Nigeria. Why is the country called Nigeria? Why is the party called PDP? So let us work united first. Let us put our ambition behind the party, behind the country. Let the party lead in the country. And then by the time the country is stabilized and the party is normalized, then you can work for your own ambition. But for now, when you say you are leading the ambition, the party can't work.
I think for many, it's really commendable that you have values that have kept you within your party. But as we round off this interview, let me ask you this question with regard to power rotation. I know that some parties have that embedded in their constitutions.
About power rotation?
Rotation of power.
Okay.
The National Assembly there's a bill which would likely be reconsidered. It had just failed to rotate power across the 6 geopolitical zones.
Now listen, let me save you. Nigeria became independent in 1960. Which means today, how many years old in independence? 65? Now, we'll not be able, up till now, to begin to think about the country called Nigeria. We're talking about, arrangement for power rotation. Is it all about power? Why is the country called Nigeria? So does power rotation give you power, give you electricity, give you water, give you health? Why are we all, maybe caressing the ego of the interest, rather, look at the country. What are we doing to make sure that, this country is becoming, very, very stable? Because, a functioning country with functioning institutions. This country becomes more stable and then a leader of the black race. That should be more paramount. But then if you think routine power will not give you anything, but apart maybe either pacifying your emotions or your sentiments or caressing your ego. That's what I'm saying. They are ingrained in the first place to make sure they know that we're able after some years to build and forge a strong country called Nigeria, where you can be anywhere you want, and that I can trust you. That when you come for the president, I say, who are you? Are you a Muslim or Christian? I will look at you on your own personal capacity and merit. I say, yes, I trust you. Lead me.
But are we there yet? That is where we should be. But are we there yet?
I mean, then after 60 years of independence, was it trying to go through the trial and error? Are we really serious?
Those who support this bill say that if we don't introduce power rotation, that the North will continue to dominate Nigerian politics. How do you respond to that?
Look, there are people who want to use sentiment to be able to attain an interest. And therefore they can bend out any kind of lies or blackmail. In my political life, in history, all through, I've been there for just not for the North, but for Nigeria first, because North part of Nigeria, if you got a very secure, stable Nigeria, then it means North is safe. If you got a very, very unstable Nigeria, which is not safe, North is not safe. So what do we do to put in place something to give the Nigerians the kind of canopy for all Nigerians to be under and feel safe and secure and equal? That's all.
So, Your Excellency, you had talked about Sheikh Tinubu and how you condemned his sharing of rice. I don't think at the time you knew it was sharing of rice in the North. His excuse is that it was a Ramadan gesture, breaking fast with the people of the North. Do you still condemn that?
Look, you look at a person and then look at his character and what he stands for. Was he there 3 years ago? If he's so benevolent, was he there 3 years ago? Since when have you been going to the North to go and give us rice because we're hungry? Since when? No, tell me.
Maybe by virtue of his position.
No, because he's cashing on the pain and the odium induced by his own father. And therefore, the people have been conditioned by the poverty and suffering caused by his own father, and therefore he cashed into it and said, okay, fine, take food. Simple. Well, was it last year? Or 3 years ago? Or Islam came to only 3 years ago? Or fasted? His father is a Muslim. Was he ever there in the North? In the last 20 years? Tinubu himself is a Muslim. When was he ever there in the North? Giving us rice. How is his own son now? What's all this? You see, look, you do not, knowingly, deliberately, destroy human essence. You don't do that simply because you want to take political interest. Because when you destroy human decency and human dignity and human self-worth, you are destroying your own image because we are also a reflection. So his duty is build people through their own resources based on the trust given to you as a leader. But then don't turn that trust into your own tool and political weapon to make sure you create a condition where people become subdued and subordinated and therefore feel compelled to do their own bidding because of pain or hunger or problem.
Your Excellency, Sule Lamido, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on Political Paradigm. And I wish we could, talk a little more, because I really want to know what your political journey has been so far, what you intend to do, but there's no time. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you another time, no problem. I'm always here for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. That was my recorded interview with former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido. Just before the withdrawal of the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, from the PDP peace process, Mr. Wike said in a statement, and I quote, "Most importantly, I had thought that we could keep the trust amongst us. But since it is now obvious that they would continue to play games to the detriment of the party, as is the case in the current debacle in the North Central zonal elections, I have now firmly decided to pull out of all agreements hitherto reached. I have decided to fight on until justice is attained." The FCT minister in a statement had also said that there was an expanded meeting in Abuja involving Governors Sheyi Makinde, Umar Fintiri, Bala Mohammed, and former Senate President Bukola Saraki, as well as himself, the FCT minister. He goes on to say that in that meeting, he made it clear that, I quote, "I had no personal problems with him," that is His Excellency Bala Mohammed, except that he hides under the facade of chairman of PDP Governors Forum to serially renege on agreements. Tension rose mightily in the meeting, and it took all concerned to calm frayed nerves. At the end of the meeting, we came to some resolutions, including that 1. Senator Samuel Ayamu remains the National Secretary of the PDP in tandem with the Supreme Court's judgment. All legal matters relating to Rivers State must be withdrawn by the National Legal Advisor. And 3, that the suit on the state of emergency be withdrawn forthwith. And finally, that nobody should deviate from the agreements so reached. In conclusion, Mr. Wike alleges violation of the agreements reached. Public perception is that all that's happening now points to the 2027 presidential election, and analysts already predict that it will be the most keenly contested election in our history. So it's safe to say that the race for the 2027 presidential election is heating up. And while we continue to see defections from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressives Congress, we are also seeing meetings among opposition parties towards a coalition to oust the APC. Former Vice President of Nigeria and People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the election of 2023, Atiku Abubakar, former governor of Anambra State and Labour Party presidential candidate in the same election in 2023, Peter Obi, as well as former governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, and former governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, were among other political leaders who attended a closed-door dialogue with the Northern National Political Consultative Group Forum in Abuja on Sunday. Well, this is not the first of such meetings, but it's expanded even more with new opposition leaders joining, some of which are still members of the All Progressives Congress. For example, last time we checked, Honorable Rotimi Amechi was still a member of the All Progressives Congress. Now, the big question is, what is in it for the Labour Party? Once an underdog, now considered a major player. I'm joined by Dr. Yunusa, Tanko's former spokesperson of the Peter Obi Presidential Campaign Organization. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Tanko, I'm curious, and I'm just going to hit the nail on the head. What's in the air? What's going on? What are all these meetings about? Are we looking towards a coalition or a merger?
Okay, basically, 5 things. Nigeria is in a dire need of rescue. There's no doubt. It's clear and everybody can see that. 2, the level of poverty is so high, especially in the northern part. 3, democracy has been deliberately put in danger by this government. 4, the level of decay in the system is so alarming that some have even lost complete hope. When you look at the issue of economy of the country, it's so much left to be desired. There was a shop we used to barb our head some couple of weeks ago. It has closed up because there's no business. Now this is in Abuja. And when you look at the man, Peter Obi, he has always been interested in these areas of needs of the Nigerian people. In fact, sometimes the nomadic nature of the man scares me. Sometimes you see him in Cambridge, you see him in Akwa Ibom, you see him in Maiduguri, you see him in Zamfara, where the killing is so huge, and he traveled by roads. Those are the things of concern to His Excellency Peter Obi. And he said, look, let's hit the road. Apart from flying from one part of the country, let's go even through the roads. And you are all witness to what happened to him on his way to Benue State, just for him to visit the IDK camps, to see the people in their dire needs. And of course, the governor, who was scared to receive such a person, refused him entry. He has to even turn back. To a point, I always ask him, His Excellency, all of this danger that we face, he said, well, you can't run away because the people need you. And you must be there for the people. That's why he's always there. And that is the crux of the matter. Of synergizing with the people. Not left, right, and center. South, east, west. Meet with the people. Speak to them in the language that they will understand. That this is about rescuing Nigeria. This is about putting food on the table for the Nigerian people. Connect with the Nigerian youth irrespective of where they reside. Recently, His Excellency just did a program of entrepreneurship trying to help the younger ones, donating money into it. Now, meeting the northern youth, northern leaders, is like, look, gentlemen, this country needs help. How do we connect with each other? And I must say here, there's been a tremendous relationship between His Excellency Peter Obi and the northern part of this country. That is a connect that is needed. So what you are seeing is a coming together of Nigerians thinking alike, trying to find solution to the problems of the country and say, look, how do we get Nigerians out of this wood? That is the crux of the matter.
Okay, beautiful. Quite a lot has been said, which has to do with the governance aspect of it. And we would have time to talk about the governance aspect of it based on some of the things you said, because you must win an election before you effect a change. So that's why I asked, what exactly is all this about? The kind of people he's been having meetings with, good enough. Some say it's a good move to have a close relationship with the North. The numbers are there. What exactly is in it for Mr. Obi? And some of his followers have said, president or nothing. Is it early to ask you what conversation he's having with regard to whether he's taking the vice presidential position or candidate offer or the president?
Let me make a clarification. The coalition, yes, Mr. Peter Obi is a coalition discussion with like minds who are interested in rescuing Nigeria from the earlier point I enumerated. Okay? But you could see clearly, this is not coalition of political party yet. These are coalition of individual candidates who believe that Nigeria needs to be rescued. So until you connect with each other and understand the basics of why me and you are discussing, then we will talk further. At the moment, a lot of understanding is being established as regard to the point of what we need Nigeria to be, not what it is at the moment. That is the most important thing. Mr. Peter Obi kind of politics is about the people. It was amazing yesterday, while we just left each other, he was in Lagos, he called and he was trying to find out that how can you talk about tax when the people are in poverty? How can you put an electricity tariff? And he was talking on top of his voice, you can feel the pain in him. That's supposed to be the most important thing at everybody's mind at the moment, because without the people, there is no politicking.
Well, I've also followed conversation from the people, most of which are the obedient movements. And I know that in the build-up to the 2023 elections, the obedient movement were sort of a pressure force to make sure that Mr. Obi left the PDP to a new party, the Labour Party at the time, just so that he could be a man on his own and not associate with persons they consider to be the problem of the country. Those are the kind of people he's meeting with now. And so some are raising concerns as to what man says that I want a new path for Nigeria based on my ideology and my clean record, so to speak, without associating with people who are with like minds with regard to the state of the country and who have put the country where the country is today.
See, the politics of Mr. Peter Obi is quite distinct. It's not the conventional way of politics that people think. Have you ever seen Mr. Peter Obi abusing anybody? He doesn't even call names. He deals with the issue. He's an issue-based kind of politician. And he never engaged anything about violence. And that's what makes him different and distinct. He has been able to connect with the Nigerian youth who are in full demand. They are not requesting. They are demanding for good governance. And so we call anybody who is demanding for good governance in Nigeria as an obedient. And that is the message and the principles of Peter Obi, and that is what is selling to the Nigerian youth, and they bought into it. And now what they are asking, which is very much in line with his own principle, is that, look, we want you to help us champion that particular cause and give us good governance as you preach. So in the process of trying to reach out to people, sometimes you may meet somebody who does not even believe in you. Like a case in what happened in a coffee shop where Mr. Peter Obi met the Nigerian youth just recently in Abuja. And he said, I don't like staying where I've always been hailed. You must bring out some bad things about me so that I will improve on it to make me better and to deliver the people. That is a sound mind speaking. It is not everybody that speak in that direction. And they are in the hall. Simply, the people, the young boys and girls identify Obinna, now becoming popular in the social media, that, look, the guy has been criticizing Peter Obi, and Peter Obi said, hey, young man, I want to hear your criticisms. How many of our leaders as of today does that?
Let me ask you a question. How do you respond to those who wonder what sort of change Mr. Obi could bring to Nigeria by having conversations with people he chose not to associate himself with because of the state of the country, who have led this country over time and have sort of failed this country?
Who would have thought that the messages of Peter Obi will have resonated with the Nigerian youth today? Nobody. Because at the point in time, they were more interested in music and all of that. Even those older ones who did not even want to associate themselves with him, many did not want to associate themselves with him. In fact, when they see him, they run. But today, he's one of the most requested politicians in Nigeria, just like you said, because he's been able to take care of the negative thinking of those particular persons and return it into a positive energy. And that is what we should be able to do. And that's what he has been able to do as a person. With all due respect, what is the correctional center for? When you arrest a criminal and put him in the correctional center, what are you hoping for? You are hoping that probably in the prison he will change and then become a better person. Really so? So now, many of the people that have done a lot of wrongs think differently, because an alternative message has been sent to you by a single person, and that particular message makes sense to you. And so you are thinking that, okay, why don't I try this particular energy and turn the country around? And that does not stop you from becoming a rich person. Instead of you engaging into criminal tendency and stealing the country to a point of stupor. Peter Obi led the government of Anambra, and he didn't have a huge dining table where people come in every now and then to come and do buffet. He has only 4 chairs and 4 tables. And when you come in to spend your time with him, you exchange present. Of course, he will offer you normal things that's supposed to be offered. But you don't expect this kind of over-bloated kind of thing that happens, because the money is needed somewhere. And he applied this money somewhere, and then for a benefit of the people. That is the kind of politician we need. That kind of a person. And that is the reason why if you showcase this kind of attitude, people are willing to learn and people are willing to change. So talking to some other persons who may not have been doing the right thing before, now they want to turn into a leader, it's a plus, not to him alone, but to the Nigerian people. So he always say, Tanko, everybody is important. Even a madman is important. Reach out, communicate with them, speak with them in a language that they can understand, turn around their psyche and make them believe in Nigeria and make productive use of whatever opportunity they have for the people.
All right, Dr. Tanko, this suggests that Mr. Obi has plans with regard to how he wants to lead the country. So it makes me ask you this question. Is Peter Obi open to a vice presidential offer?
We are not even talking about a vice president position.
So he's not open to being a vice president?
We are not talking about vice president position. Ours is to tell Nigerians that you have a product that can turn around the fate of Nigeria.
As a president?
Yes, as a president.
So,
at the last meeting.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, as a president.
This whole conversation has nothing to do with the option of a vice presidential
No,
candidate.
I just enumerated to you why those particular conversations took place.
You know, I'm saying,
it's to rescue the country.
I'm saying, because whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
I've followed conversations from Obedience as
sure.
well, and they have repeatedly said that if the offer is for vice president, Peter Obi should not take it. So I'm asking you now, do you align with that?
Of course, because I am leading the obedient movement, and that is the demand of the Nigerian people. So when we get to that particular bridge of saying that, look at the statistics, look at the optics, look at the balance sheet, and look at what this particular position will tend for us. One, it unites the country, bring in the youth which have been neglected for very, very long time, who are now ready to come into politicking. What about the changes of the innovations that he put in as a governor of Anambra, the narrative that he has changed for 8 good years, for God's sake. Nobody had an armed robbery case against Peter Obi in that state. There was none. And people are still going, you can go and confirm. Apart from the fact that he left money into the cover. These are things that we are not used to hearing or seeing. But it really did happen. With one single person. Paying pension and gratuity with nobody owing him anything. Making sure that there's industries and building roads that connect every local government together. Some even went ahead and started blackmailing and said probably there was no local government, but there was. So in every area of facet of our daily lives, the basic fundamental that is required, Peter Obi met that particular score sheet. So if you have such a person, why would you shop for another?
On the issue of local governments,
yes.
Maybe you want to clarify.
Yes.
Because during his time as governor, he ran the state at some point with interim administrators at local government level and had a fallout with the APGA at the time, which wanted local governments because they needed them to build structures for the election. So you might want to clarify.
At a period, yes. But at the end of this particular period of tenure, he had the local government election. I was not told, I saw it. So I wanted to verify, just like as you are asking me. So that particular local government election took place. You can verify. It's not something that you Google it right now, you will see there was local government elections. And yes, of course, in politics, there's always, ups and downs and all. But once you can be able to navigate the system and get it done, I mean, it's just up.
You are coordinating the obedient movement.
Yes.
Now, and some fear that movement is not as alive as it used to be. I know that at a symposium last year, you had said something about restructuring the obedient movement to give it more life. Could you clarify what you meant by that and the extent to which that has been done?
After the 2023 general elections, of course, a lot of obedient felt that's supposed to be a kind of a full demonstration and going onto the streets, fighting for the mandates, and that politics in Nigeria require visibility and all of the physical battle. And then, of course, it is not the style of Mr. Peter Obi. He sends his message in a different light and yet very, very effective. So at that point, there was a slowdown in terms of activities of the people. So when I was named last year in September to lead, it becomes that the obedient movement is just moving amorphously. And then if we are not careful, it will go into an extinction. So why he now agreed that, look, the best thing is that let's get it together. Let's get it organized in a formal way. And so that way, we will be able to get our people together and reinvoke their will. Okay? Some, of course, are still not really still angered with such a situation, and they want a more forceful way. And some are of the opinion that the youth need to be more energized and electrifying like it used to be. But it takes time. Once you have an issue of that nature, you take time to rebuild. and that is what we are rebuilding. At the moment, we've had series of building. We are even coasting down because already we've had the National Coordinating Council in place. We've had the directorate already in place and up and running. We've had series of advocacy in each of the zones except for South and North Central. We've had individual pockets of states too also meeting each other. Recently, we've concluded with building 25 states of the Federation already up and running. Now, we also have launched our registration portal, which was not there before. And now we have registration going on. Every now and then people are registering. So we want to know our numbers. We want to warehouse ourselves. You agree with me, no matter how electrifying we were at that time in 2023, we were not able to cover some polling units. But this time around, we've now had areas that were not even reached out to before, now existing. I'm talking about places like Yobe, Sokoto, Kebbi State, Borno, Jigawa. I'm talking about Kano State, and all these northern states amazingly now have physical presence of Obi. Not on Twitter, not on Facebook. They are alive, not one-on-one. And, as we move along, there will be teething problems. So we continue to evolve and correct some of those particular ills. But the major task ahead of us is to ensure that every nook and cranny of the Federation of Nigeria, Peter Obi has connected with them, and he has already been able to do an excellent job of getting the people who were not there before, now they are alive. Let us just be humble in terms of our area of coverage. There is no politician today, quote me, there's no politician today that can tell you that he can give you a block vote of a region, apart from Peter Obi. There's none.
What region are you talking about?
About Southeast, which of course Ebonyi falls into. Anambra, Imo States, Abia State.
Imo State.
Imo State. All of the 5 states. All of the 5 states in the state. You can be sure that Peter Obi vote, if election take place today, would be a block vote for him. There is no single politician in Nigeria that can deliver that, including the Mr. President as of today.
So you think that the entire Southeast will vote for Mr. Peter Obi in 2027?
They can continue trying, but they cannot get it.
So that brings me to the people of the North.
Yes.
Because now the conversation has extended to the North.
Yes.
Why did the North not vote for Obi last in 2023? And why do you think the North will vote this time?
They did. Maybe not commensurate to the level of expectancy. I'm from the North. I voted for Peter Obi, and quite a number of people.
I know
not
the
mark
win
number
an
that
election,
was enough for me. And we have a target. As I just told you, can you believe for the first time, because of one single person, Peter Obi, we held Twitter space in Hausa language? In Hausa language. It has never been done. On 2 occasions, even on those particular, people are speaking, young boys and girls of northern extraction are the one championing. You can Google it, it's verifiable. I was on the space.
But I thought they said politics is local. So when you're dealing with Twitter for the North, which we know doesn't have a high Twitter population, is that politics enough for you?
Good. The question you want to ask yourself is that it is dominant in the South at a point. It's a wearing house. People meet and speak their minds freely. And we have already now have physical presence of those particular persons. In Lagos, we just had a program. Peter Obi was not at that particular program, but the hall was filled to capacity. People who usually speak to themselves from different, they don't even know each other, but they met in Lagos until you see the Southwest entirely met. And they met the same way too in Kano. They met that way in Gombe. They met the same way in Onitsha. And they will be meeting possibly a different way in Port Harcourt or Bayelsa State, and probably in the North Central. The issue there is that at a point in time, you may just like you say, maybe 0.5% of people who are interested, they don't do Twitter, they only do TikTok, and then they just do dancing and all of that. But this has changed. Now you're talking reality now. People are talking about electoral act. People are talking about how they will transform their economic well-being in the northern part. These are young persons who are not interested in those particular narratives before, but now they are interested in doing it because of one person, and that's Peter Obi.
Why?
Because they know that the dynamics has to change. He went to areas where people do not have pipe-borne water. He provided them with boreholes. They are up and running up to tomorrow. That is care for the people at the grassroots, and that is connecting with them. On a daily basis, he talks about, look, there was a fire outbreak in Zamfara State. Zamfara State has been known to be one of the most dangerous parts of this country at this particular point in time. He said, go there. Go and commensurate with the people. See where we can give aid and support to them. And we did. He sent money to those particular persons. How many of our people go to? They only like to go to a fun fair where they will put on their Barbariga and all, but then care for the people. But Peter does. That's what difference he has with the people. I'm speaking this because in my, how many years in politics? Over 40. You know me, I've been in this for a very long time. I was in secondary school from 3 that I joined Gani Fawemi's political party. From 3. At my young age. Some still can find me as a very young person. I'm still in it. But on the opposition quest for a good governance. And I have never, Gani did wonderfully well. You know, I'm a product of Gani and Balarabe Musa and Otto Wanko. So you can see the lineage in which I come from. And so he had been able to connect with that kind of ideological political system. Getting closer to the people because those are the people you want to help. In his life now, at the moment now, he said, Tanko, I don't need anything from anybody. God has blessed me. But then in that case, what about the blessing of God? How have I been able to put it to judicious use? And that is exactly what he's doing. Making sure that he puts this food on the table of Nigeria within his capable means. And also sending the message, let's turn around the economy of this country from consumption to production. And you look at the arable land of the northern part of this country and say, look, this is money on ground that can double what we are gaining from oil. Let's transform it into life. And that is exactly some of the things that he can do differently. Do you know from his own calculation, as he mentioned yesterday at the gathering, he said Netherlands is not up to Niger State. Netherlands. And they are producing more than what we make from oil. Just one landmark in Nigeria. So you can imagine if Niger State can be turned into a hub, agricultural hub. You can imagine Maiduguri with that kind of huge land. You can imagine Kano State, Zamfara State. You can imagine Kaduna. Not talk about the ones in the south. No, not at all. Just talk about the lands in the north. So what we will be making as a country will be unbelievable income. And that way, it will have taken care of simply our insecurity.
Just as we wrap up this conversation, with regard to the politics of things, it almost suggests now that as far as the Labour Party is concerned, it is only Mr. Peter Obi's ambition that is priority. I say that because you are losing members every day, just about every week to be specific, in the National Assembly. Every week. How do you intend to win? What this means is that the chances of other members of your party are getting thinner by the day as your political strength depletes.
That brings us the issue of one of the 5 points I raised with you, the danger in a democracy. The Electoral Act, and of course Mr. Peter Obi has made it clear, we are not mixing words. This particular government is involved in the problems that we are facing in most of the political parties. And unfortunately also, they had an enabler, the Electoral Act. Because the Electoral Act was actually clear, but it was not enforced. That you cannot trade somebody's manifesto for another manifesto and still contain that particular chair. It's totally unacceptable. Ethically wrong. Completely ethically wrong. But we have it in Nigeria, and that is because there are intimidation, coercion, and probably, stick and carrot approach. You must join us, otherwise we will do this. So that's why you are seeing many of the people who we are seeing joining the APC are not joining themselves on their own personal will. And I want to commend those who have remained resolute and determined to remain.
But your members are also joining the PDP.
And that's what I'm saying.
Are they being coerced to join the PDP as well?
Everybody, because probably that is where we need adjustment in the Electoral Act. I mentioned it earlier. You see, the Electoral Act needs to give us a proportional representation where funds that are supposed to be allocated to each of the political parties remain with the political party, those who are in position in the National Assembly. That way, everybody will feel the security that it's looking for. Many people want to go to a place where they feel there is a certain security. I agree that we have an internal issue within the party. There's no doubt about it.
But that is a caveat that the Constitution provides for
and that is where it is faulty. It is faulty. It is meant because people want to use it as an alternative or probably an exit way. You cannot, Terry, look at me. Me and you contest on the same political party. We won. And we sent to the people that this is ABC, what we are going to do based on our manifesto. Then because already we've won and then we just trade it in and go back to political party C. Do we have a right to sit on that particular seat? Obviously, no. If we want and we're popular, we'll go back to the people. We seek for election. That look, gentlemen, I saw that the manifesto of political party A and B was not favorable and is not delivering to you what I promised you. So therefore, I want to change to political party C. So I left my seat and I'm changing myself. Vote for me so that I can bring the manifesto of political party C to you. That is what is expected to be done. And the electoral and constitution also provide that. But because of the manipulation tendency in our system, they don't want to declare that particular seat vacant. And they feel it's an advantage to them, which is a very big mistake because it's just implosion waiting in the process. It will happen. We've seen it happen before.
The concerns around other levels of election within your party are huge.
Yeah.
Because as it stands, people rode, as it stood at the time, people rode on Mr. Peter Obi.
Exactly.
To get to where they are. Now, they don't think that the people who rode on him to get to where they are have left or are leaving and going to perhaps rule in All Progressive Congress, or if their state is a PDP state, they're going to the PDP and all that. So that brings the question of what grassroots mobilization do you have as you prepare for the next election? If the negotiation or if your strength of negotiation is Mr. Obi, what happens to the Labour Party in the end?
Well, a party is a party. It will always find its way to survive as a party. As far as we are concerned, is to ensure that we get closer to the people on the grassroots. We have shifted our mobilization from the Twitter space. We have shifted it to physical humans. I just told you now that we are even doing a membership card, which is digital. And everybody that is obedient and believe in it is easy. You can easily tweet it. Right now, in the 5 minutes, you are already registered. You don't need me to be there to register. Just click on the net, and then you are already a registered member of the movement. It's so simple.
Dr. Tanko Yunusa, thank you very much for your time on Political Paradigm.
Thank you very much, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes, to that. Well, that's all the time we have. I've been speaking with the coordinator of the Obedience Movement and former spokesperson of the Obi campaign organization in 2023, Dr. Tanko Yunusa. If you'd like to catch this conversation and the previous one, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or simply go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.